Back to the football. On loan, Brighton winger Jeremy Sarmiento striking in the 97th minute to keep Ipswich on top of the Championship with 6 games to play. Next up, of course, it's the local derby against Norwich. You can hear it live on talkSPORT 2. Manager Kieran McKenna can't wait for that one.
It's a great game to look forward to. The game here in December was, a really good occasion. I thought our performance was excellent, really. If we weren't able to quite get the win, but we played really, really well, and that gave the group a lot of confidence because, Norwich have been in a really different place than us over the last few years. So, yeah, we look to go there and test ourselves on Saturday and play as well as we can in a big atmosphere. And show our quality and show all the qualities that we're going to need to try and get something from the game.
Joining us now for more, the former Ipswich Town striker, a member of the Premier League 100 Club, Darren Bent. Morning to you, Benty.
Morning, Benty. How are you, mate?
Morning, gentlemen. You all right?
Yeah,
Great,
very
mate.
good. Thanks.
What a game yesterday, pal. What a game of football, eh?
Honestly, I couldn't believe it. I mean, the game, I thought Southampton, you'd have to say, were probably the better side. But Ipswich at the minute just find a way to win. They're in it amongst the big boys, as you'd say. I mean, a lot of people didn't probably make them certainly to be where they are right now. But yeah, they're there on merit. They're playing really well. And as you said, what a day of football yesterday in the Championship, because it was tops in terms. I was at the Leicester game. They were losing. They come back, Leeds as well. But Ipswich absolutely flying at the minute.
How have they done it then, Darren? Because, here they are, with the best will in the world, they are minnows, really, swimming among some of the whales of that division, if you like. The sides have come down, Leicester City and Leeds and Southampton. How have they managed to stay up there?
I think coaching's come down to it quite a lot. I think Kieran McKenna has been absolutely outstanding in terms of what he's done at that football club. Even some of the recruitment, they've lost certain players to injury, bringing in certain players. I know Kiefer Moore went down yesterday. I mean, he's been excellent since he got to Ipswich, so hopefully he's not going to be out for too long. But I think it's just belief and momentum, because a lot of people forget that they did even win League One last year. It was Plymouth. So people automatically expected them to be maybe not fighting relegation, but certainly mid-table. But they've used that momentum. They've surprised quite a few people. The football that they're playing, I mean, it comes down to them as a football club. But Kieran McKenna, he deserves a massive pat on the back, because the way he speaks and the way he coaches these players and the coaching staff, the support network he's created, it just seems to be getting better and better.
Benty, I mean, the three of them, fantastic, flying at the moment. Ipswich, Leeds and obviously Leicester. I watched the Leicester game. It was great to see Vardy come on and score again. I thought he was quiet in the game and lost at Bristol City. I watched that. Leeds at home, frankly, have been unbelievable. If we'd stick your neck out and give us 2 from the 3, who would you say, mate?
Well, listen, I'm not going to be biased, but I'm going to say Ipswich as one. And the other one, I think I've got Leeds, because at the minute, like Leeds, I wouldn't say are playing particularly well, but they're finding a way to get results. And when you look at their so-called like front five with Somerville and Bamford and Reuter, people like that, I just feel they've got the best 5 in the league. So I'm going to go Leeds and Ipswich for automatic.
Big game at the weekend for Norwich, of course, for Ipswich, of course, because they come against their arch local rivals in the Old Farm derby when they take on Norwich. But I think that's a good game to have for them at the moment, Darren, don't you? If you want to maintain that momentum, you can't get a bigger game for Ipswich than taking on Norwich.
Yeah, and it's something Ipswich going to have to do, because the record against Norwich of late hasn't been great. And even in the reverse fixture at Portman Road, Ipswich were in great form, and everyone expected them to kind of wipe the floor with Norwich, and it just didn't happen. I mean, Jonathan Rowe that day for Norwich was absolutely outstanding. But you're right, the way that Ipswich are playing at the minute, that big result against Southampton, the result for Norwich against Leicester, you'd have to say Ipswich are the favourites. But in a derby, form goes out the window. So whoever can handle the occasion better. And I'd like to think Ipswich have learned, certainly from the previous game against Norwich, that they know exactly what it takes to win this particular fixture.
Benty, just a quick one, mate. Your beloved Arsenal at the weekend, what did you think of that game? And obviously a massive game tonight, West Ham versus Spurs.
Yeah, it was huge. The one at the weekend. I mean, if it almost flattered to deceive, because we was all expecting fireworks. We all thought it was going to be an amazing occasion, and it was nothing really. It was a bit of a nothing game.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say there was too much quality in the game between City and Arsenal. But listen, if you'd have offered me a point before the game, I would have taken it. But Spurs tonight, I mean, what a game that is against West Ham. They don't particularly do that well down there, Tottenham. But again, coming back from Luton at the weekend, I think if you give West Ham in this particular fixture at home a leg up, I don't think you can come back from it. So it should be a really fascinating game.
As an ex-pro, Benty, what's your view on Calvin Phillips and what he's going through at the moment?
You know what? I feel for him, because I did the game at the weekend, and At 3-1, I thought West Ham looked quite comfortable, and it just so happens that when your luck's when your luck's out, it's out. It gives the penalty away, which I think it could have gone either way, and then the Harvey Barnes win away lets him go past him. I just think when you don't play in that particular position, when you don't play week in, week out, rust starts to build. You can't get your legs. He hasn't played much football in like 2 years, so I can understand why he's trying to get up to speed, but at the minute, it just doesn't seem to be working out for him. But I hope he comes through, because he is a good player. But somehow, some way, he's got to find a bit of form from somewhere.
Darren, enjoy it tonight, mate.
Enjoy the game tonight, Paul.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers,
Darren on commentary for tonight's coverage.
I think that's a tough one to call,
West Ham
Jeff.
against Spurs. I think it's a really tough one to call.
I'm actually leaning towards the home side, you know that?
Yeah, I am possibly a little bit as well. I know Spurs are just hit and miss away from home in particular. I remember them going, they went to Villa, didn't they, and absolutely battered them.
Brilliant.
I remember that Fulham defeat where they were awful. So they're really hard to call at the moment. And West Ham, I think they'll feel that they've got something to make up
after the weekend
to their fans, after the weekend,
that's sore. 3-1 up, 15 minutes to go.
And in control,
Yes.
Okay, Newcastle have made a couple of chances, but you couldn't see anything but a West Ham win, and then of course it was all turned on its head.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.